After 8 years in the markets and tens of thousands of hours studying the craft of trading, I'm going to show you what I truly believe is the #1 tool that will help you become profitable. And this tool, my friends, is called gatekeeping. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to set up a system that forces you to stay disciplined, focus only on high probability trades, and ultimately ensures your success as a trader. If you're serious about leveling up in the markets, this is something you can't afford to miss. Journaling is critical to every trader's development. Without it, you have to rely solely on memory, and with the body of data that's required to make a positive change, this is near impossible. Writing each trade down as you take it, detailing the pros, the cons, the day and time of day, context of the position, and many more elements, as well as a detailed visual and written breakdown of the trade as it develops, is absolutely essential, as you can read, review, and analyze this body of information, pick out where you've been going right and wrong, and use this to progress by focusing more on what's working for you and less on what isn't. The issue is, when most people journal, they focus on two tenses, the present and the past. When journaling the trade in real time, they're focusing on the present, documenting what's happening, why they took the trade, their emotional state at the time, and so on. When they review their journal, whenever that may be, they're focusing on the past. What happened, where the trade went wrong or right, and how they can improve based on their past actions. Gatekeeping occurs before the trade. It focuses on the future. With this system, picture a set of gates, one after the other, and to pass each gate, you're asked a question to which you have to respond the right answer, and you can only advance if you get it right. This is what gatekeeping is, and it will dramatically reduce the number of losing trades you take, focusing only on the setups with the highest probability. Gatekeeping is a framework that, if approached with honesty and respect, will give you a mechanical system to tackle your endeavors in the markets. One that's an ongoing, malleable template that you input data into to best fit your style and stance in the markets. Right, so I'm sure you're keen to dive into how to set up a gatekeeping process for yourself. And don't worry, we'll cover it in great detail. And as I said at the start, this will be the most powerful tool in your endeavor to becoming profitable. But before we have to conduct two important exercises that will be critical to assemble this tool for you. And the first is to go through the charts and find 10 to 20 of the best setups possible based on your system. In my case, this was me scanning the hourly time frame and above and picking out the best setups I could see that had the best playouts over the last 6 months. This will, of course, differ for you if you trade on different time frames, so conduct this exercise as if you were trading the setups yourself. From here, I want you to either put together a physical book that you've stuck these into, or pin them up on your office wall. We're going to refer to this from here on as the Wall of Fame. That's the first prerequisite out the way. Now on to the second, then we'll be swiftly on our way to the real alpha of this video. What I want you to do here is go through all of your journals, spending a good amount of time picking out your main flaws. These are bad practices in your trading, points at which you consistently trip up, and common repeated mistakes that crop up and stand out. If you don't journal yet, no worries. Instead, I try to brainstorm these elements and write some down as ideas. So that's the groundwork out of the way. Once you have these in hand, it's time to put together our gatekeeping system. To do so, I want you to head over to Airtable.com. From here, input your email address, then input your name and password. Click personal and continue. You can just skip the rest of the sign up process from here. Next, simply go down to the bottom of the page and click exit, which will take you to a new table. Close down all of the pop-ups and you now have your blank table to work with. This is a table similar to Excel with rows and columns to work within. And to start things off, rename name to asset and delete the other default columns. Now we're going to start customizing our Airtable so it's as effective as possible for our gatekeeping. But first we need to fill in the basics and understand at a baseline level how to fill it in. So hit this button, rename it to long-short and choose single select. This means you can choose one answer from a set of predefined options. For this, we're simply going to make one of the options long and the other short. By clicking these icons, you can then go into the color panel and change the colors so they're fitting to the options. Then go ahead and click Create Field. We're going to title the next column Date, and this time select Date from the drop down instead of single select. Select Include Time and then go ahead and create the field again. Title the next column Trade Elements and choose Multiple Select from the drop down, which means you can select one or more options from a predefined list. Turn off color code options and start adding your elements. These are the technical elements of the trade, such as support and resistance, supply and demand, breakouts, deviations, and so on. So these are a few of the basic sections you can do, but now I'm going to pivot over to my Airtable so you can see what mine looks like from here onwards. To start, this is what my trade elements column looks like. Again, this is a fluid and adjustable process. So if I decide to integrate something into my system like EMAs, I can always add it in as an option. From here, I go on to conduct an assessment of the trend using 3 metrics. First off, we have 1 hour eyeball. This is simply me looking at my primary time frame, being the hourly, and writing down at face value whether we're in an uptrend, a downtrend, or neutral price action. For these types of columns, you need to select long text from the drop-down and make sure Enable Rich Text Formatting is toggled. This allows you to write freely, but also use things like bullet points, which can come in handy. Next, we have Trend Chart, which is a chart I have on TradingView to give me a visual grasp of the trend. For these, I choose Single Select, bullish, bearish, or undecided, and color code them according to their status. The last trend column we have here is Delta Dynamics specific to my system, and then we conclude from our analysis whether the trend is bullish, bearish, or neutral. I'd adjust these trend analysis columns and tailor them to your system, but do not remove them. Having a trend-based gate is very important and will benefit your performance as a trader without a doubt. Now we come to our next single select column. Is this trade pro or counter trend? My options here are I'm trading with the trend, I'm counter with valid reasoning, or the trend's neutral and I can play either side. The reason we do this is that trades taken with the trend in your favor have higher success rates than those trying to fade the trend. You may be trading with the trend, but you also may not, and decide at this point to walk away, realizing that you're trading against the trend, meaning you have worse odds, and that in fact this setup isn't quite good enough to make an exception to do so. Next, we have 2 simple columns, pros and cons, both long text style with rich text formatting. This is simply where I jot down bullet points of what it says on the tin, the pros and the cons. Most people focus on the pros of the trade. This is our natural psychological disposition. We think about winning the trade, and as small levels of dopamine are released into our brain, we focus on the positive outcome, thinking about the imaginary P&L of what our trade would look like, and write down all the reasons to be in the trade. But few focus on the cons. In this column, we're trying to pick apart the trade as best we can. When filling this out, I want you to pretend you're criticizing someone else's trade. Step out of the trade mentally and try find all the reasons not to be in the position. This is of course a major gateway, and one I imagine will keep you out of many positions if exercised properly. On to our next column, which may be one of the most important on the page, the Wall of Fame analysis. This is single select and is a simple answer, but one that requires a good amount of thought and analysis. The options being, it belongs on the wall, it doesn't belong on the wall, and I'm not sure if it belongs on the wall. What I want you to do is analyze your wall or book of fame for at least 5 full minutes or longer if necessary. Go through all the screenshots of the trades you know you should be taking, come back to your setup and decide whether it truly belongs with them. Remember, by focusing on only the top tier setups, you can have higher conviction and as a result take trades with confidence and size, holding the position with strong hands, knowing you've entered with good thought and valid reasoning. If you answer in full honesty that the trade doesn't belong with the rest, you have to walk away. This gate has kept you out of the position. From here, the table continues to advance to the right. I won't delve into the full scope of the table, but we can pick out some general columns that I'm sure will be of use to you, such as how would you feel if this trade immediately goes against you? The options being regret, this was not an A-star setup, or not regret, this was an A-star setup. Through this section, you need to visualize yourself getting immediately stopped out. The trades we should be taking are top tier setups, those we would take day in, day out. As a result, the answer here should be no regret. But if you have a sinking feeling in your stomach that this won't be the case, again, walk away. This gate has kept you out. Remember, the gates are there to help you, so honor them and treat them with respect. From here, I've created 6 columns for screenshots, the option from the drop-down being attachment, and finally at the end, a column for closing or take profit rationale and post-trade analysis, both in long text format. Now that we've done this, we have an all-in-one. We have our pre-trade gatekeeping process set up, we have our screenshots for during the trade, and our post-trade analysis for reflection. If you go back to the Asset tab and click here, you have your template in its best form, ready to go that you can fill in with ease. Just a quick note that when you attach your screenshots during the trade, you're likely going to want to write notes alongside it. I do that here in the comments section. So I'm sure you're looking forward to getting going with this new tool. But gatekeeping is just one element of many when it comes to trading. In order to get where you want to be as effectively as possible and not make the common mistakes that most make on their journey, I've put together this video for you, detailing in 8 simple steps how to become profitable in the markets as efficiently as possible. So get started and click here. Your journey starts now.